For any medical illness, we always consult and seek a doctor. But we somehow either choose to ignore or forget to consult and seek a doctor for an illness called depression. On this episode today, I have one of my very closest friends who is a survivor of depression, but he is still journeying through that phase right now. Although I feel that he has grown up a lot, he himself believes that he still has a lot to maybe experience or learn about his journey of depression. And I just want to tell you guys that this episode is very entertaining. Trust me, but it is very intense at the same time as well. If you want to listen to this episode, I think you just need to leave everything that you are doing right now because, yo, man, this ain't gonna be an easy episode on anyone. This is a very intense episode filled with a few fun segments, obviously, to counterbalance the entire intensity because too much intensity would just become boring. But then again, at the end of the day, this is an infotainment podcast and this is a self-help, sorry for the fumble, this is a self-help podcast. And this episode, I think, is one of the most important episodes that I have ever made yet. So getting right into the episode, I have my friend Rohan Jain on the episode today, and well, he's the fourth guest on the podcast. So yeah, bro, just introduce yourself to the audience.
So I'm Rohan Jain. I'm 17 and I'm a motorsport enthusiast and I do photography and yeah, I like to capture the night sky the most out of all my genres.
Okay, bro. So thoda sa just give us an idea about our past life together. Like how did we become friends? Thoda school life ka bata वगैरह. Thoda sa just talk about those things right now.
So I met Varad in first grade. He was a very skinny kid back then. Almost as if, I could let's say, thrash him. He seemed kind of weak, but then, we're kids, that's fine. And yeah, he was a pretty chill kid. Then, obviously,
I just want to say one thing. This guy is just lying out of his face right now. When I was small, I was never thin, dude. मेरे को मोटा मोटा हमेशा से बोला जाता था भाई. कुछ भी मतलब भाई.
oh yeah, that's fine. I'll just put up on a story in a few days about, our first grade class picture. And then I think you'll see how thin you were. Anyways, so we've been good friends ever since then, and I don't think we've ever had a reason to fight about anything, even though it was just friendly. And then again in 7th grade, we had the same class, and yeah, fun times all the time, whenever we were together. For sure, we had like a lot of friendly duels in the short break, lunch break, whatever the reason may be. But yeah, hell, it was fun. Yeah.
Just reveal those reasons right now, dude. Those reasons were pretty funny, man. I'll reveal those reasons right now. So this guy, okay, I'm revealing this in front of everyone. So this guy loved Shohei, just wanted to impress girls by getting beaten up by me. And bro, I mean, मैं इसको मारता भी नहीं था तो भी ये लड़कियों के सामने जाके इतना ज्यादा ओवर एक्टिंग करता था ना भाई. I mean, that was a fun time back then. I mean, seriously. Anyways, moving on to the next segment of the podcast. Okay, bro. So I want to know about your COVID life.
COVID life. Oh, it was, let's say, yeah, just like everyone else, stressful, trapped in your own little bubble of yours. Living with the same people, blah blah blah, and then yeah, mentally took a big hit. But then obviously, I was I was dating someone, and yeah, they made the time seem a little less bad, in terms of loneliness, because you always have that someone that you can talk to, speak your heart out, to listen to speak to, spend your moments with. And yeah, that made it a little less miserable. But then in the house you're seeing the same people, your mom, dad, and yeah, that kind of like it kind of starts getting on your nerves after a time. And yeah, so just daily morning schools. After that you do your homework, and then in the evenings you've got your tuitions, and after that you know tuition ends at about 8:30, and then from 8:30 to 9 just chill in the balcony, the cold breeze alone, sing, listening to songs, sing along, and then yeah, I'd work out, have my dinner, and then just try to get some sleep.
Okay, dude. So, I mean, obviously, COVID life was miserable for everyone. COVID ने बहुत अजीब सा था. Um, I just want to reveal this thing on the podcast. This guy is an insomniac. So he has severe insomnia and ये सोता नहीं है. So I just want you to kind of give some knowledge about insomnia, because you are an insomniac. I hope you know something about the thing. थोड़ा सा just shed some light on that topic, because it is an important thing as well.
Yeah, so basically insomnia is like a sleeping disorder which makes it hard for you to fall asleep, stay asleep, or it may even cause you to wake up early and still not be able to get back to sleep. तो उसमें हाँ ऐसा like there's be like you have depression, anxiety, or you get irritated very easily, and then even though you slept दिन में you still feel like you're tired, you're a bit worn out, and there's always an increased amount of errors or accidents that you do as compared to a non-insomniac, and you have a tough time paying attention on tasks or even remembering stuff. And because of this, you also tend to worry about sleep, and that just adds more to it.
I want you to shed some light on depression as well. So I see, मेरे को मजाक नहीं उड़ाना कि तू एक depression वाला आदमी है, but then I just like you told, like तूने अभी जब explain किया what insomnia is, तूने बोला कि even depression is a part of it. So explain something about your depression. I mean, if the thing is way too personal, just don't get into the personal details, but just थोड़ा सा give an overview about depression. Like, what are you doing to get out of it, or maybe if you are out of it right now, because depressed people कभी-कभी कैसा they just among you, and you don't know if they are still going through it, because it's a it's an internal fight or something. So basically, if you are going through it, तो तू क्या कर रहा है to get out of it? Because see, I'm always helping you. मेरे को मालूम है, देखो आके lecture बहुत झाड़ता हूँ. It's like every month में एक बार तो one visit to Rohan Jain, because this guy, I don't know what he's gonna do. I need to go and check up on this dude. So yeah.
So, well, here's my experience. It's been a rough 5-6 years now. It all started in 2017 at a really, really traumatic event that just changed my life forever. It's been downhill ever since, and there's been rough patches, but most of it I've always fought to get myself out of it. It's like a slump. It's like you can't really get out of it unless you get help or help yourself. So it's like sometimes you feel like sulking in it, and then that eventually grows on you, because you feel like that pain has been there so long, you'll feel empty without it. So you decide to just stay with the pain, and probably get some sympathy from someone. That's how you find your way out. But for me, it was like I just I used to hang out with my friends, and obviously in this world there's many kinds of friends. There's toxic friends, there's people who are really faithful, and then there's people who are like who have a blood relationship with you, not literally, but in a way that you can obviously trust them with everything. And well, I was fortunate and lucky enough to have a few people. This includes Mr. Varadnyan Mote, and yeah, I've been very fortunate that they've been there for me through my whole depression ride. Still going on, still here, still fighting it, and I know I'm not the only one here, but Obviously there's like a lot of people who put on a mask, they fake a smile whenever they're outside, or they'll just sit quietly, absorb the environment around them. But inside it's like it's a huge turmoil. There's intrusive thoughts, and mostly they win. But then again, it's like you become very curious, you become very cautious and very very sensitive to your nature. So it's like your senses are dialed up to 11, but then to compensate for that, your feelings are like heavily suppressed. You feel numb. Ironically, you'll feel cold because you feel like there's no one around you who can relate to it, and even if they could, you feel like a burden on them when you don't want to. And that's why, sometimes, well, most of the times, I never opened up to anyone because I felt like I would be a burden, and I would just add to their own misery. So I just keep everything inside, and I still do that sometimes. But it's, let's just say, it's not the perfect way, but yeah, it kind of works as a coping mechanism for me.
So, I mean, what do you think is the way out of depression? I mean, from your journey right now, देखो, I mean, I know you just stated that you are still going through it, but what do you think? And this thing is, I'm asking you to answer from your heart, kind of a thing. Just answer this from your heart. What do you actually believe is the way out of depression? What do you think that? What is that thing that you need to actually do, or not even about you? It's not about कि ऐसा कि तेरे को करना ही है वो चीज़. तेरे को सच्ची में तेरे को, because what I believe is, this is my theory. What I believe is कि जो लोग डिप्रेशन में से जा रहे हैं, they know what is the way out of it. They know कि कैसे बाहर जाना है. But then there's just those few things that are just stopping them from coming out of it. So according to you, what is it?
Good question. There's a lot of factors in this. It's a very subjective question. So it all starts with a trauma or an event in your life which induced depression into you. And for me, it was something I can't mention because it's extremely personal to me. And let's just say that for me, depression that I got from it, it's gonna stick with me for a long time because it really messed with my head, my feelings, and basically my emotional stability. For kids studying in 7th grade, all that happening to him or her or whoever they may be, it just doesn't sit right with them. And it's very traumatic, and it just like kind of gets embedded into your brain. And then whenever you're at a low point, you keep on thinking about it. Even though you don't want to think about it, it just comes back to you. And for me at the moment, I can't see an escape from it. But what I'm trying to do is find happiness or solitude, or let's say a craving that I can pursue, which helps me, well, let's say, to build my character, socially, personally, and obviously in the field of education as well. Whatever that helps me will suit me, obviously. And I trying to find peace in whatever I do. And if I have pleasure, peace. But if I do get something in terms of something that's very beneficiary and that sticks with me for a long time, I'll go for it. And that kind of like it's my remedy, it's kind of my therapy. So typically, I've heard a lot of friends say that, "Arey, my parents, they're like, depression, foreign ki bimari hai. It doesn't work like that. You meditate, you do pranayam, yoga, and you'll get out of it soon. It's just a phase." Okay, so first of all, meditation, yeah, that helps definitely. Pranayam also does. But depression isn't a foreign ki bimari, neither is it a phase. But let's just say it's an illness. Don't get me wrong, but it should be treated, just as well, as much patience and cautions and let's say उसको important रखना चाहिए, treat it equally as you would treat if you got a wound or a fracture, if you injured yourself, because mental health does matter. And I mean, a lot of parents do value it, but then there's quite a few people out there who unorthodox.
Okay. Moving on to the next segment of the podcast, your mentality, dude. What is the change in your mentality? What is the shift in your mentality? The mentality कैसा था? Like, for example, if I give you an example, like 2 साल पहले का रोहन कैसे सोचता था? What was his mentality and attitude? And आज का रोहन कैसे सोचता है?
Well, 2 साल पहले का very carefree guy, chill guy, didn't have too much to worry about. And under say maybe he was a little unstable, but he was handling himself in a way that wasn't too energy consuming. And yeah, basically he was very chill, nothing too much to stress about, just living a calm life.
So are you suggesting that 2 years ago you were a better person than you are right now? Is that what are you suggesting? I mean, I'm just asking you.
I wouldn't say I was a better person then. It's quite the opposite. But let's just say I didn't have a lot to worry about in terms of, school status and then, personal life, family life. So, I wasn't exposed itna as compared to what I am now. So yeah, that sense of maturity is absent in the 2 year pehle ka me.
Yeah, so moving on, there's this one thing about maturity, right? Like, people want to get mature, and even a lot of elderly people expect us to be mature. But this is one thing that I have observed. मैं काफ़ी टाइम से ये चीज़ observe कर रहा हूँ. Even though I am a mature guy, like everyone calls me, but when you get that sense of maturity, right, I think the number of problems just exponentially increase. This is something that I've observed. ये maturity वाला जो फंडा है ना, मेरे को पूरा चूतिया लगता है भाई. That entire concept of maturity is just dumb. Because seriously, when you start to, understand things, the number of problems just exponentially increases. मतलब it's like वो direct proportion है भाई, ये बढ़ा तो भी बढ़ गया. I don't know, man. This maturity, I don't know. I think what I am thinking right nowadays, I feel is it just worth it, that maturity? Is it worth it anymore? Because being an immature teenager is way more better than being a mature teenager. I think इसलिए बोला जाता है कि teenage is the phase where you can make a lot of mistakes. Although when you make a lot of mistakes in this phase, they can cause like a nexus event for an entire life, dude. So I don't know, man, this entire maturity thing. Anyways, let's just move on to the next segment of the podcast. I want you to open up about your mistakes. Well, obviously not giving the entire detail, but just go on and like बोल कि तूने क्या mistakes किए थे and what are your regrets from that mistakes, and what did you learn from them?
I was I was, and maybe I am still, what you would call a basic teenager, people pleaser banna tha, always used to go around, but then I always hated it when people called me a chamcha, कि तो इसका पूछ है, इसके साथ घूमते रहता है, चमचा है इसका. No, that always kind of ticked me off, no, I'm what they call a best friend, and I'm not a tail, I'm not a follower. So obviously, even though people were saying that, I still went along with a few friends. They obviously often they themselves got themselves into trouble, and then to get them out, either I would get myself into trouble, or I would just do everything I can. I'd be down on my knees to get them out of hell if I could, and sometimes I have. It's like if they go down, I'll go down with them. But then I realized my self-worth, ki, after after an event, I realized my own worth, ki, no, I'm worth more than this. I shouldn't be doing all this stuff, If I don't do it for myself, why should I do it for anyone else? So, yeah, I started to prioritize myself, and I put myself before everybody else. But then, even now, I don't know if it's a mistake, but I still prioritize my close ones above me or on my level. So, there's quite a few mistakes that I've made, like trusting the wrong people, or you know bad judgment. And yeah, so I used to have like prejudices with people ki ye to aisa hi rahega. But once I got to know them, then I remember, that's when I realized ki my judgment is a bit screwed. So I need to work on that. I need to refine myself. I don't know if that's I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah.
Final segment of the podcast. What is your current mental health situation, and like what is the improvement you have seen?
Yeah, in the past 1.5 2 months, it's degraded a lot. And in the past 3 weeks, a lot's happened, like in terms of school life. I was like extremely overwhelmed with my surroundings, because these kids, they talk a lot, and then it's like when you're listening to everything, the voices in your head, the people around you, you kind of like start to dissociate. You can't figure out what's real and what's not, what's in your head and what's the reality. Life just becomes a blur, and then next thing you know, your eyes are filled with tears, and then someone looking at you in your eye, and then they call you in the room next door, and then they're like, what's wrong? And when that question pops up, and when they ask it genuinely, not for the sake of asking it because they see something wrong, but when they genuinely mean it, that's when that dam of tear falls. So yeah, I've been on the low for about a month and a half now. Recently, I lost 2 people, and one of them was my grandfather. I was really close to him, and I was going to meet him the very next day. I was going to travel to my hometown to meet him, but I think there were other things planned, I guess. So I didn't get to meet him one last time, which is kind of painful. But yeah, I've been on the low, and I'm struggling, but I know I am being backed by my friends and my brother. So just for a fact, I know that I have people who love me, who care about me, and who are genuinely ready to support me, including Varad here. So I really like to thank all of them. And if you're listening to this, just know that I'm eternally grateful to you, and I love you a lot.
I get that you were pouring your heart out over here. I don't want to disregard your feelings or something, but that just becomes a bit cringe for me. I'm sorry. I am really sorry. Just please don't cancel me or something. Or just don't get offended by me.
Don't cancel it.
Anyways, see, things will definitely get better at the end of the day. It's a phase. I lost my grandfather 6 years ago. I just can't believe it's 6. Yeah, it's been 6 years since that incident. And last year, I lost 2 of my very close friends. I thought, things weren't going to be as great as they are right now, because it was a difficult thing. But once those things happen, it's just something that you cannot change. Death is something we cannot change at all. And I think we just have to live with it. I want to meet my friends more than anything. It was the literally death anniversary last week, and I wanted to meet them, but then again, I can't meet them. And those guys are somewhere in hell or somewhere. I'm joking, but yeah. just trying to ease out my pain with some jokes. But anyways, I think why am I making this episode this weird? I don't know. I just don't know. Anyways, any last piece of advice that you have for the listeners of this podcast?
Yeah, those, suffering, or those who have stories that they can relate to with mine, just know that you've come so far. Just, take a moment, look where you came from, look at all your struggles, all the people that were there for you genuinely and not for the sake of it. And it's times like this when you realize, it's like a reality check. कौन असली है, कौन नकली है, कौन रुकने वाला है अपने साथ. तो yeah, be grateful for who you are, and just know that things are gonna get better, definitely. Because if you made it so far, you can go a little further. It always hurts, but let me tell you, it's worth it. And never give up on yourself. And if you feel like giving up, talk to your friends, talk to your parents, talk to that someone that you care about, talk to that someone that cares about you, talk to that someone that you can't live without or can't spend a day without. I've got my friends. I can't spend a day without them. Hell, I can't even spend an hour without thinking of them. So yeah, I just know that I'm grateful to them, and just know that things are gonna get better. Hang in there. We're all in this together. If you need help, do reach out. Even if it's me, even if I'm a stranger to you, trust me. You can feel free to open up to me. I'm a safe space. Nothing's gonna go out. It's just gonna be the two of us. I love you all, and keep on working.
So yeah, that was a wrap for episode number 5. I think I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode because it was pretty intense. A lot of truth bombs and a lot of things that he has shared from his heart. And I think this episode was very necessary because the last 2 episodes did involve people sharing their side of the story, but again, I mean, those were quite chill as well. But this thing, I think, just we stick to the intensity because I think it's just something that we need to talk about. Anyways, this podcast is also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and it is also available on YouTube. But if you are watching this on YouTube, I'm really sorry I haven't recorded the video yet. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please do share this podcast with other people as well. And yeah, peace.